What's going on, my beautiful people? Welcome on into yet another edition of The Mafia. Hello, hosted by yours truly, Carl Jones. Before we go any further, y'all know the drill. Make sure you tell your sister, your mother, your brother about the things we are doing here on this channel. Speaking about this show, I got a special guest for you guys. My dog, Justin Siejak. He is the co-host of the Buffalo Down podcast. He's a news producer here at News 4. Every single day, we talking shop about the Bills, NFL, NBA, quite frankly, any and everything that's sports related. Anything. Justin, how we doing today, big dog?
Man, I'm feeling great. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me. Let's do it.
Listen, as we record this is Tuesday, March 31st. One note, I am also 13 months out from a wedding, so your boy, I'm getting old out here.
You got big plans.
I'm grown.
See, I got some time yet.
Yeah, you young. You like 19. But regardless, the NFL owner meetings are taking place right now. Joe Brady as well as Brandon Beane out there in Arizona, soaking up the sun, also speaking to the local media. I just want to take care of some housekeeping things that they have said to this point. Probably the biggest thing, and we'll start right here, is the fact that they're going to pick up Dalton Kincaid's fifth-year option, which means for those at home, he will be contractually obligated to the Buffalo Bills through the 2027 season. I believe his contract is set to make about $8.1 million in 2027. What do you make of the Bills picking up his option?
Yeah, I mean, when he's on the field, he's an impact player. There's no doubt about it. It hasn't changed since his time being drafted here in 2023. The questions have just been the availability. And that's kind of what they touched on earlier today in Arizona, just making sure that the knee's healthy. He's had, issues keeping it stable enough to stay on the field, and that's really been the catalyst for him. There's no doubt that he can be an 800, 900-yard guy per season. The question is if he can just stay on the field for the guys.
Hey, your best ability?
Availability.
Is availability. And I think that's the one thing that has hindered Dalton Kincaid, not just here in Buffalo. For those who don't remember, his final year in Utah, he had that really bad back injury.
Banged up,
that kind of hurt his draft process, his pre-draft process a little bit. I want to further dive into who Dalton Kincaid is as a player here, because I feel like he's kind of the forgotten player in this receiving core. And listen, for the sake of this show, I refer to Dalton Kincaid as a pass catcher. I will never call that brother a tight end. He does just as much tight end stuff as I do. Having said that, when you talk about his salary obligations in 2027, that $8.1 million is 18th in terms of average annual value for NFLs across the National Football League. You do that 10 times out of 10.
Absolutely.
The salary cap's going up every single year. So from a salary perspective, it was a no-brainer. You accept that 10 times out of 10. But the one thing I do want to mention about Dalton Kincaid here, you mentioned the knee injury. I also do want to add to the conversation about who he is as a player. I think in terms of, if we're just going to talk about pure receiver and his ability to get open and catch the football, he is one of the best tight ends or pass catchers on planet Earth.
Smooth mover.
Full stop.
Yeah.
That's not the issue with Dalton Kincaid, even when he is healthy. The other issue is that
let's call a spade a spade.
My brother don't really do a lot of blocking.
Yeah.
And let's just say inline blocking against defensive ends and linebackers. And that's where I'm a little curious on his fit is going forward, and how do you kind of mold an offense around a guy that you can only play 40, 45% of the time?
Yeah, I think Joe Brady and Brandon Beane touched on in Arizona. I mean, I'm pretty sure Dawson Knox actually outsnapped him last season because of these injury issues. So just kind of nursing that throughout the entire season can be nagging, because as a football player, you want to keep your reps going, so when it comes time for game day, you're ready to go. Now, if you're not getting reps in, well, it's up, down, it's up, down. You're trying to manage this. You're trying to stay healthy for game day. And sometimes it just takes you out of the loop. And for him to still look productive as he was in 2025, it's great. There's no denying the player or his ability. And it's just, again, it just comes down to the injuries. And that's part of the reason why, with that production, 8.1, that's a good price point. That's a bargain, like you were saying.
I give guys 2 years to talk about them at their draft slot. Once we get past year 2, I don't care where you were drafted. Are you a good football player or not? So I don't care where Dalton Kincaid got drafted. Has he been a first-round caliber player? No. But at this point, who cares? We're on to year 4 by this point. So I think it is okay to separate where he was taken versus who he is as a player today. Some other things that they talked about out there in Arizona, Brandon Cooks, maybe a possibility to come back.
Wouldn't hate it.
Brandon Beane said that he's been in constant communication with his agent as well as Brandon Cooks himself. Brandon Cooks is a vet. He don't need training camp. No. That brother don't need mini camp, really, or OTAs. Yeah. I am not surprised one iota that they are still in constant communication with him.
Absolutely. I mean, everything rides on the draft process, right? With their picks, who are they going to go with? They're going to go 2 receivers. Are they going to go 1 receiver? It comes down to the board at the end of the day. And you kind of see during the summer when these free agents are available that are, maybe on the wrong side of 30 or getting there. That's when they're like, okay, we're settled into what rosters may look like nowadays. let's try to strike a deal in August, in July. So that's kind of where I'm eyeing for Brandon Cooks at this time. I don't know if it's a priority, kind of say, but I mean, he was effective when he came down for the Bills. He stretched the field more than kind of any other player on the Bills, to be honest.
Listen, the bar is the floor.
It is.
Yeah,
it really is, yeah.
But I think with DJ Moore in the fold, if and when
Yeah.
they bring in a rookie, you wouldn't ask Brandon Cooks to be that player in that Denver game who has to make that clutch catch in overtime. Right. Presumably, he wouldn't have to be that player, barring that DJ Moore is the player that you think he is, and they take a rookie. Some other things that they touched on a not so positive note. Dorian Strong. For those who don't know, Dorian Strong was a cornerback that they took in the 6th round last year. Loved him out of Virginia Tech. Loved him even more in the summer training camp, leading into frankly the first few weeks of the season.
He held his own. Yeah.
He really did well for a 6th round pick. I'm like, oh snap! Did they find another 6th round cornerback similar to what they did with Christian Benford 4 years ago? Fortunately, he suffered a season-ending neck injury. He got surgery a few months back. Brandon Beane gave an update at the owners' meetings and said he's in a healing phase, but they quite frankly have no idea about his career going forward. And that just sucks to see. Forget the football portion of that. The human part. You know, like, I don't even know. Like, listen, I wake up with a crick in my neck, and I feel like the world's going to end. My brother had to go under the knife to fix that. Just praying for his health and wealth and make sure he gets back into the field safe and sound in that regard.
Yeah, he can play. Hopefully, it all works out well. It's too early to say anything. Obviously, we don't know, but guy's got long arms. He's sticky. He was moving well at the beginning of the season, and it sucks because neck injuries are tough,
Also, the Bills got two outside cornerbacks on the roster right now, Max and Christian. It would really help if Dorian was able to play this year and help out the depth chart. The last thing that we'll touch on, the joint practice, for those who don't know, Brandon Beane kind of hinted at the fact that they will go to Cleveland this year for the joint practices. Week 2 of the preseason. And listen, Brandon Beane been talking about wanting to get his hands on Myles Garrett, right?
Yeah.
Well, my boy, you get to talk to him nice close and, get to put your paws on him a little bit. I'm a big fan of joint practices, though. Love them. I know it's much different, but like in high school, when you get to scrimmage against opposing high schools, because all training camp and off season, you just beating up on your boys, you beating up on the guys that you've seen the last 3 weeks.
Same guys every week.
So the fact that you are able to,
absolutely
put paws on another man, no pun intended.
That's one of the better defenses in the entire league. Anytime you can match up against guys of that caliber, it'd be crazy to say no. So it sounds like they've got a tentative deal locked in for at least a 1-day practice, and I think that's really exciting, especially because some of the new guys on the offensive line, maybe a new left guard. So, testing them against this kind of defense, that could be beneficial for the team.
Should be real fun. Anything from that owners meeting that you thought was interesting?
Just kind of glancing over Joe Brady's presser earlier today, I kind of found it interesting going to the defensive side of the ball real quick. Landon Jackson, Dwayne Carter. 2 guys we don't really talk about that much anymore because they've just been out of the fold. And it's tough when that happens because it's tough to get back into the fold. Now, what he said was, it seems like they're kind of shifting body types here, which is notable to me because obviously, Jim Leonard's going to bring in this 3-4 look now. So these guys got to be bigger. They just have to be bigger. Still talk about looking for a nose tackle across the defensive line. Landon Jackson, it's funny. He's a massive human being, but he's kind of skinny. He's kind of wiry. So it would be beneficial for him to maybe put on, 20, 10 pounds, something like that, just so he can match the physicality of guys he's going up against.
The Landon Jackson one is fascinating because he was thought of as a project coming into the league.
Yeah. So
now we're making him a project again, going to a different scheme. That's never fun for a young player who has to, all right, I got to learn how to be a professional off the edge in a 4-3.
Right.
Nah, you telling me I got to put on 20 pounds to be a 3-4 end? Because he's not an outside linebacker.
No,
it's just not his archetype, who he is as a player.
He doesn't have the movement abilities to be an outside linebacker.
Also, he's rehabbing, I believe, an LCL injury, PCL, one of the two.
MCL, something like that.
Yeah, MCL. So a lot going on with him. Good dude, a real good dude, interviewing him this past season. Hopefully everything works out for him. All right, enough about the owners' meetings because who cares about what them dudes and suits got to say. It's draft season, baby. Yeah. For those who don't know, Justin and I every single day talk about like some random draft prospect that we've known of since, I don't know, they were 18 years old. We're nuts when it comes to this football stuff, kind of crazy a little bit. From when it's high school to college, and now that these guys are going to make their dreams come true late April. We're going to do a quick segment today called My Guys. Basically, I'm hurting. I'm so excited. I'm over here hitting the microphone.
I'm down now.
Basically, Justin and I are going to we're going to put ourselves in the Bills draft room. It's draft day, and we are going to stand on the table for 3 players where, listen, if the Bills are picking, we are telling everybody in the room, I hear what you got to say about these other guys, but these 3 players you got to trade. You got to trade. It's my guy.
Yeah, my guy.
Like,
Stand on the table.
You told me to be a scout all year for this moment. I'm standing there on the table. I need this player.
Trust my word, man.
Trust my word is bond.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay? Shout out to James. So you're going to pop this. You're a guest.
Yeah.
So you can pop it off today.
Yeah.
Your first my guy.
Yeah.
We're in the war room.
My first my guy. Someone who can be physical on the defensive side of the ball. We listened from Brandon Bean kind of talking about adding an edge to the defense this season. A guy that I have my eyes on that I'm going to stand on the table for. Missouri defensive end Zion Young. This guy's a big dude. He's got a pro-ready frame. He's 6'6", 230. He checks all the boxes. I mean, he's kind of, maybe everyone's got a different flavor for a pass rusher. You want a speed guy, you want a power guy. This guy's power for days. You can see the power in his hands. His bull rush is incredible. He's a smart player, strong against the run, rarely misses tackles. I mean, as I'm reading this off, he's checking off a lot of boxes for the Bills. I mean, missed tackle percentage last year was not great for Buffalo. So Zion Young, this guy participated in the Senior Bowl and just did nothing but impress. He won American team and MVP for the squad. I think he had a sack in the actual game. I think, if correct me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure he dominated the first few practices so much that he actually sat out the last one. Because it's like, you're balling, you don't really have much more to show. He's checking a lot of boxes for me. 28 and a half tackles for loss over his college career. It's 46 games. 11 and a half sacks, 3 forced fumbles. This guy can cause a lot of havoc across the defensive line. And a lot of people rave about his dog mentality, his Allen mentality. Just getting some energy in the room is always good.
So for those who are on the audio side and aren't watching the podcast right now, there's been a couple pictures that's popped up that really excite me about who he is as a player. One, he had the ball in his hands. Anytime a big boy has the ball in his hands, love to see that ball production out of big boys. Secondly, I just saw the fact he has a C on his chest.
Yep.
Captain, leader. Love that out of my guys who you want to pay a lot of money to. We're going to make you guys millionaires.
Yep.
Can you be a good influence in the locker room? And then the last one that I think is super underrated, but it also speaks to your football character, because I was not this guy. He tried to block a kick on field goal block. And it's small things like that. I know people are at the crib like, bro, we're not drafting the guy in the first round to block on field goals. No. But it's beyond that, though.
It is.
That's the play where you take off.
Yeah.
You're dealing, like, man, they scored a touchdown.
Let me relax here.
Like, we be chilling. Let me just get to the sideline. Or listen, it's small things like that that speak to your character as a football player. And I think small things like that, just off the pictures that we've seen, my man's getting choked out.
Check it out. Look at that.
My man's getting double teamed. He's getting choked out, and he's still trying to split the double team. Also, before I send it back to you, played in the SEC.
Yeah, I mean, that's top tier ball. You can't ask for much more. And when I go through these drafts year after year, a word that I always find myself looking for is motor, and that just fits exactly what you just said. Not taking plays off, being a leader for the team captain. I'm seeing Tik Tok edit to this guy to like NBA YoungBoy, going crazy. So this guy's ready, man. I think he's ready to come in and actually play a significant role week one, especially because, you know, the defensive end room is kind of a question mark right now. Agent Epenesa's deal falls through with Cleveland. Is he coming back? We don't know. Obviously, Landon Jackson, we don't know where he's at in his recovery yet. So this is who I got my eyes on right here. Zion Young.
Are we pounding on the table for him at 26, second, third round? So first round.
He's a 26 guy. I don't think he makes it to the second round just because of who he is as a leader. The mindset. Teams fall in love with the mindset. The mindset and the motor. That's all it is. And all this guy did was produce. All this guy did was produce for an SEC team. Goes to the Senior Bowl, makes an impression. He'll be locked in the first round, in my opinion.
When you think about the edge rushers the Bills currently have, Greg Rousseau, long-term deal. Bradley Chubb, at minimum, a 2-year deal. They gave him $29 million guaranteed. Michael Hoyt recovering from an Achilles injury. Besides those three, there's not really a player.
It's a question mark.
There's not a lot of depth in that room. Javon Solomon, big question mark. In theory,
how does he fit in this defense?
Right, like in theory, he'd be a good outside linebacker, but that is theory. We haven't seen him basically do that since
being
Troy.
drafted,
I mean, since Troy, to be quite frank with you. We mentioned Landon Jackson's probably going to kick in to be a down 3-4 defensive end in this system. So I think it's very fair, and I would be on high alert of the Bills taking a defensive end in the first round. All right, it's my turn.
Let's do it.
I've been going back and forth on this one, Justin.
Yeah.
I've been going back and forth. I've been struggling. I've been indecisive. Started with my fiance. She always says I'm like this, but you just got to deal with it. We're going to go on the offensive side of the ball for people at home. I know y'all want to hear about receivers. So I'm going to stand on the table for round one, Thursday, April 23rd. I think whatever day it is, first round of the draft.
Yep.
I am standing on the table for Texas A&M wide receiver Casey Concepcion. I can't believe I got to this point, by the way.
Yeah.
I have been like the Cedar Point top thrill dragster when it comes to Casey Concepcion.
Yeah, I like that.
I've been up and down.
Sure.
I remember him at NC State because he's in the ACC. For those who don't know, I played ball at Syracuse, so I'm well aware of the guys in the conference.
Sure.
He was a running back, I think, his freshman year, where he lined up there a lot. He was more of a slot guy sophomore year. I'm like, oh, he productive, whatever. First, then he transfers to A&M for his junior year. He was solid, but I didn't think he met the hype. Because when he went to A&M, they paid a boatload of money for this guy. He got me up next. Yeah, I ain't really buy it. Then I watched the tape, and I just watched everything together. I was like, yep, that's exactly what the Buffalo Bills need. For those who don't know, let me give you a quick little rundown of who Casey Concepcion is as a football player. He's 6 foot, 196 pounds. When you think about the words that the Buffalo Bills have been lacking over the last 2 years, yak and separator. He has those two things in abundance.
Absolutely.
He's a 3-level separator in terms of his slot, in terms of his quick area ability, digs, outs, and then also down the field a little bit as well. Very sudden. He's quick. I would say he's quicker than fast.
Yeah, 100%.
He wouldn't be a guy who I would expect to run like
Straight
4.3s,
yeah.
but he's linear and he's really explosive.
Yeah, his hips. He just gets in and out so easily. And another thing you didn't even touch on is punt return ability. I think he had 2 last season, and that's not even going back to NC State. So this guy's dynamic with the ball in his hands, and it can't hurt to go with a dynamic player in round 1 like Casey Concepcion. So he's a versatile guy. I've seen him line up in the backfield, which with Joe Brady at the helm, you never know.
Never know. And now this isn't all dandelions and roses. We keep it real and funky here on the Mafia Huddle. So let me be honest with you. There are 2 knocks about him that I think are warranted to bring up, especially if you're going to take this guy in the first round.
Yeah.
His career drop percentage, bad ball. Not good. My boy drops a lot.
It's like 14%.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. But here is the one thing that I will say about that. Drop percentage tends to be the most volatile stat when it comes to wide receivers. Some of these guys enter the National Football League with sure hands. They get to the league, and they can't catch a loaf of bread. Some of these guys, and then it's the inverse for other players. Yeah. I think George Pickens is a perfect example of this as a player who couldn't catch nothing in college, and then
he catches everything.
Catches everything in the pros. So that's one concern. The other one is he got the T-Rex arms. He ain't really his catch radius ain't the greatest. So I wouldn't expect him to be like a George Pickens or anyone like of that nature who's going to catch the ball outside of his frame. But I wouldn't ask him to be that.
Right.
When I look at the NFL today, there are 2 types of receivers who dominate the league right now. Separators and guys who create after the catch. Yeah. I mean, damn. Brandon Beane, if you're listening right now, if I'm in the room with you, turn the card in.
Yeah.
He's a separator and he has yak ability. What more do you need? I don't think he's a perfect prospect by any means, but if he's there at 26, that is a skill set that the Bills, quite frankly, don't have. I think he's perfectly fine on the outside, but if you have some concerns, you want to put him in the slot to begin with.
It'll work there, too.
My man can make things shake there as well.
He's dynamic, man. He's good. He's good with the ball in his hands for sure.
So, and the one thing about this class for receivers is flavors.
I'm glad you said that because I got a flavor right here for you. Out of the national championship winning Indiana Hoosiers.
Ooh.
Omar
Who's
Cooper
your daddy?
Jr. Omar Cooper Jr.
Oh, okay.
I'm standing on the table for you, pal. This guy reminds me so much of like prime LSU Jarvis Landry. He's not going to burn down the field. It's not his game. But saying that, he ran 4.43 at the combine, which I think Jarvis ran 4.6, late 4.6.
4.7 at the combine.
4.7. I mean, that's rough. You might not get drafted in today's NFL running that. But Omar Cooper runs 4.43. And the main point that I want to hammer home here about Omar Cooper is the first tackle's not enough with him. This guy is built like a rock. Like, he just sheds tackles like they're nothing. I don't know if that's more so his frame or his mentality after the catch. It doesn't matter. He's making plays after the catch left and right. And especially for a program like Indiana who went on to have this illustrious season, some even comparing it to 2020 LSU, I wouldn't go that far.
Relax.
I wouldn't go that far.
Saying that,
wouldn't go that far yet. But they were a really good team. And he was a big reason why. 937 yards last season, 14 touchdowns on 69 receptions, 6 foot, 200 pounds. He's got a pro-ready build. The size, whatever, 6 foot you want to say, that's good enough for me. For what his game is, that's good enough for me. And even just going back to the big game against Penn State, I mean, that's the highlight of the year, man. He came down with a contested catch as time expired in the back of the end zone. That's a tough catch to pull down. And he gets feet in bounds, man. That was impressive. This guy is someone who's sure-handed, 4% drop rate. I mean, can't get much better than that. And yeah, I mean, this guy has the chance to be a dynamic player off the catch. Like I said, I just keep seeing Jarvis Landry when I watch him.
I said the 2 traits that you see with it. And actually, let me hash this out a little bit. Yeah. If I were to go down the list of the best players in the best receivers in the National Football League, and I say they're either separators or they got yak ability. Jackson Smith-Njigba, separator. Puka Nacua, no one's tackling him. No. Jamar Chase, no one can tackle him, and now he's developing into a really good separator.
Yeah.
Justin Jefferson, really good separator. CD, really good separator. Can't tackle him either. No. So, like, if we're going down the list, those guys are elite in those traits.
Yeah.
And you just mentioned with Omar Cooper Jr., no one's tackling him on the first. I
Nobody's
remember
tackling him.
there's 2 games, and if you want to talk about, he's at little old Indiana, watch 2 games. Watch his games against Oregon and watch his game against Ohio State. Those 2 programs have NFL DBs and guys, quite frankly, linebackers.
I was going to say those teams again. Those aren't walks in the
Dylan
park.
Thieneman, a player who I love, he don't want to see number 3 again.
Jaden Kennedy too. I mean, DBs all around at those teams, and he still produced. So
And they couldn't tackle him.
he turned into Fernando Mendoza's number 1 weapon, and kind of coming into the season, he really wasn't the number 1 weapon. A couple guys went down for Indiana, stepped in, and all he did was make plays. So this is my guy this year.
Flavors, and that's definitely a different type of flavor that the Bills. I think he's a more juiced up Khalil. I think that's an appropriate way.
I like that.
to put
Yeah.
it. More juiced up Khalil. Talking about flavors, you mentioned one type of flavor in terms of defensive end, Zion Young. He's more of a bruiser.
Yeah.
Hard hat, put his hard hat, go to work. No one wants to block him for 60 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Well, the flavor that I'm going for is someone that I'm pounding on the table for, and if I'm in the war room, listen, we got to take this guy. Malachi Lawrence out of the University of Central Florida. He's a player who has riven up the draft process of late, and I see why. He's the prototype. My boy, 6'4", 253. We'll stop right there. That's what they look like.
Traits, measurables.
When I create defensive ends on Madden, they 6'4", 250 every single time. Oh, we ain't going to stop there. At the Combine, 4'5", Did I tell y'all that he was 253 pounds?
No man should be able to move like that.
Oh, even better than 4'5". 1.5, 10-yard split. For those who don't know about 1.5, 10-yard splits, that's really good. Any 250. Oh, I'm not done yet. A 40-inch vert? Excuse me, sis. If we are talking about measurables and how are we going to translate to the National Football League, this is what they look like.
Yeah.
That's exactly what that brother on the screen right there is, an athlete of all get out. He is super explosive.
Talk about the burst.
That's all him. And his highlight tape is riddled with him running down quarterbacks.
Yeah, it is.
Where, like, he didn't make the play at first. The quarterback gets outside of the pocket, back and tame. Hey, we can coach that up. But he chases down the quarterback.
I like the term heat-seeking missile for that. That's what I think he is.
And I really love. And here's the reason why I think he'd be a good fit for the Buffalo Bills. 2 reasons. First and foremost, Jim Leonard is coming from the Denver Broncos. And when you watch the Broncos and their defense, they got 2 track stars off the edge, Jonathan Cooper and Nick Bonito. Well, hey, they don't have that on the roster right now. No. I love Greg Rousseau and Bradley Chubb as a pairing. Neither of those guys are Usain Bolt.
Yeah.
I think Malachi Lawrence can be that. The 40-inch vert, that's explosiveness. That 10-yard split, that is explosiveness. I think he has really good get-off. Now, he's not a perfect prospect by any means. I think he's a player who could be a little bit better against the run.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I want to construct my defensive line like a basketball team.
Sure.
We need different
I was just going to
roles.
say he's got a shooting guard body.
Man, well, we need different things to do in that room.
Yeah.
And I think that when you look at the Seattle Seahawks, and obviously you can't do one-to-one comparison. The Seahawks are one-to-one.
Yep.
But different body types all across the defensive line. They had speed guys. They had rugged guys. They had small defensive tackles.
Guys who get after it, man.
Big defensive tackles. They don't got that on the roster right now. Malachi Lawrence, he's a good player for the Buffalo.
I like that guy, man. He would bring some serious juice to an edge rushing team that really hasn't had a guy with that kind of get-off bend ability, you know? So I'm big on Malachi Lawrence. I think he ends up late first round, early second. Sticking the defensive side of the ball here for my guy. Bills need a linebacker. Let's talk about it. They haven't signed anybody yet, and it doesn't look like they're going to anytime soon, maybe in the summer, who knows. They're probably talking to vets as we speak. But I don't want a vet there. I want a guy who can shine, who can be, a cornerstone for the defense for the long coming. Jake Golday, Cincinnati linebacker. This guy can move. He can ball. He's versatile. He's done it at 2 different places, stepped up his competition, and played even better. 6'4", 237, and I just come back to the versatility. I've seen this guy line up at off-ball linebacker, edge rusher, big nickel. It's like, what don't you want in this guy? He moves. He's an athlete. He made Bruce Feldman's freak list, so he just off the rip, it's like this guy's a one-of-one athlete at the very least. Combine that with, he's a really good ball player too. This guy would be a great fit for Buffalo. I go back to the beginning of the season for Cincinnati. He had 26 tackles in the first 2 games. Led the FBS. It's ridiculous. This guy just finds the ball, and the Bills have guys who find the ball too, but they ain't 6'4".
Nah.
They ain't 6'4", 230.
Nah.
It's a new defense. It's a new look. And that's not to discredit Terrell Bernard or Dorian Williams or anybody like that, because they're great ball players in their own right. But we're going back to flavors, and I need some size out there. Especially in this 3-4 defense, you need guys who can come downhill, shed blocks, and make a tackle. And that's what Jake Golday did. That's all he did at 6'4". I mean, and I keep going back, shedding blocks. That's been an issue for Buffalo for so long, and I think that contributes to their missed tackle rate. Jake Golday checks a lot of boxes for me. I mean, 9.6 missed tackle percentage, which is really good. 4.6. I mean, this guy's the full package.
Flavors.
Yeah.
One more thing on him before I move to my final guy. He also played at the University of Cincinnati. I'm from Ohio. And then also, if you want to talk about pedigree, Sauce Gardner, Kobe Bryant, Ivan Pace.
Even this year, Dante Corleone in the middle. I mean, they've got guys, man.
Don't sleep on Cincinnati. They produce pros,
Absolutely,
especially on defense. My guy I'm pounding the table on, DB, of course.
Yeah.
Carl, of course, is going to pick a DB. AJ Halsey, LSU safety. I'm going to make this real quick before you get up out of here, guys. He's 6 foot, 215 pounds, runs a 4.5 too. But I love the fact that he's a throwback.
Yeah.
When I'm watching him, he's not necessarily like that smaller DB that you maybe see sometimes or the skinnier guys.
Yeah.
He's rocked up. He loves hitting people, and he also has ball production.
Thumper.
Instincts, ball production, and a thumper. I can find a spot for you on my football team. And listen, when we talk about the guys that they've added this year, it's CJ Gardner-Johnson, Geno Stone. They brought back DeMar Hamlin. They still have Jordan Hancock on the fold. Outside of Hancock, none of those guys are going to be here for the long term.
Oh, 1-year deals.
So listen, if CJ Gardner-Johnson is better than him today, that has no effect on 2027.
Right.
We are still building a football team for the long haul.
Yeah.
And if he beats out CJ Gardner-Johnson in training camp, who cares?
Yeah.
He's a better football player. CJ Gardner-Johnson is on a relatively cheap deal.
I think he'll be there in round 3, too.
Yeah, and I think that's the idea for me. If the Bills were to, for some reason, trade back in the first round, accumulate more picks, or if he is there in the latter parts of the third round, you run up, put the card in, Brandon Beane, make it happen.
I like it.
Well, that'll do it for this week's edition of the Mafia Huddle. Before we get on up out of here, once again, Justin, where can the good people find your work?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter. Or Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, at Justin Siejak, first, last name. I'm covering Bills and football and, quite frankly, all sports there all the time. So give me a follow. I'll follow you back.
Yeah, man. Make sure y'all show my boy some love. He got nothing but good takes, good ideas out there, good content, everything, the whole shebang bang. Once again, before you get up out of here, make sure you tell your sister, your mother, your brother about the things we're doing here on the Mafia Huddle. I'm going to open up a mailbag for you guys in a couple weeks or so. Allow you guys to ask me some questions, get your questions heard. Maybe I got some answers. Maybe I don't. I'm not all-knowing. I'm not God, but I'll do my best. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time.